of Soul Care Conversations with Berea. And excuse me if I'm looking in two different directions because this is one of my very first collaborations in a very long time. And we're using a
Yes.
new format. And I have this amazing, gorgeous woman inside and out who is a
Thank you.
powerhouse. And we have an 8 hour time difference. She's all the way in the Netherlands. Super
Yes.
momming, giving all the super mom vibes there. Um,
Girl.
yes.
You're hyping me up here.
No, you deserve it. And
Oh, thank
I'm so
you.
excited to have her as a guest. And today's topic is about self care for moms. And I felt like there was no better person I can have as a guest today than Nima.
Thank you.
And I can go on and on and on about you, but if you just give us a brief intro on you
Yes,
and your why.
I will. Okay. Well, I think you and we've known each other for a couple years now, even before I became a mom. And I feel like I became a mom in 2017, and like my whole life changed. Before that, I was just like, I was just living life, but I didn't really know what life really was until I became a mom. And I'm gonna give you like a little background info, which I've also shared on my page. I've lost my mom at the age of 21, and that really like changed my whole life. It shaped my
Mm,
life. And before that, we were taking care of her, me, my dad, and my brother, taking care of her in her sickness. And then she passed away. And then
mm,
I was like 21 years old. Like, that's the time that
very
you're
young.
supposed to like live your life and just be out there, discovering who you are. But I didn't get to do that because I entered survival mode. I basically shut myself off from all these emotions and the grief, and I decided to keep myself busy with like my goals and like trying to achieve things, so I didn't have to focus on the grief part.
Mm,
And I became a mom, and all of that resurfaced.
mm,
And people don't tell you that. You find out when you're in the trenches of
mm-hmm.
motherhood. So,
That's
throughout
so
the
true.
years, right? Like throughout the years, I was like, since 2017, I've just been like on a journey of like, I'm trying to figure out what's happening to me. I'm changing, I'm evolving. And then I started my healing journey in 2020. That's almost 4 years ago. And I've been going to therapy and coaching, and it was a very yeah, life-changing experience, because for the first time I allowed myself to really
Mm,
feel. I've
mm,
been dodging it for years. I've been really in survival mode, and I started coming out of survival mode for the past 2 years. I've been burnt out,
mm,
like really like not working for a while and really focusing on rest and
mm,
recovering. And that's how I've come out of survival mode. And I've learned so many great tools during therapy and coaching that I discovered a new me. Like I was,
mm,
it's like I was, there was a rebirth of me. And
mhm,
I think that's exactly what we as moms, that's basically the whole purpose of motherhood. Like you're gonna rediscover yourself, you're gonna become a different person, and the person you were before that, they're not here anymore. Like,
right,
stop
right, right,
looking for that person, she's gone.
right.
You
No,
have to restart your life. And that's basically what
yes.
happened. And I realized I was not taking good care of myself. I forgot
Mm,
myself. I was so lost in, this whole journey of motherhood, but also the healing journey. Um, but
mm,
healing was the thing that I had to do to really find myself again and become a better mom and just a better
Yeah.
human. And then I discovered my purpose, and that's why we're here. It's
Yes.
yeah, so now I'm going into coaching other moms how to really prioritize themselves, understand like where what are their priorities in life? What is, what are your needs and which needs are not being met, and why are
Mhm.
they not being met? And then really looking into yourself, like doing that self-reflection, is looking within, and not looking at
Mhm.
what other people are doing or saying to you, but just focusing on,
Absolutely.
yeah, you. So that's kind of how I
Wow.
came, here.
I
This is why
love
I'm here,
that.
you know?
Yes, I love that
Thank you.
introduction. So many things you just
Yeah.
said in that intro that really stuck out to me. And when you
Hmm.
look at your brand, Self Care with Nima, you would never be able to
Hmm.
tell that was your story, right?
Crazy,
But I
isn't it?
love how
Hmm.
you have those moments in your brand where you literally
Hmm.
you give us those glimpses into the depths of your story. Every woman
Yeah.
is like an onion and we have different layers to who we are.
Right.
But like you said, being 21 and going through this
Hmm.
journey of 21 is such an interesting age for us as women because it's like,
Right.
okay, I'm finally an adult, and this is for me that I'm
Hmm.
legal and all these things I can
Yeah.
just experience life. But to go through such a
Hmm.
traumatic experience, and the thing about
Yeah.
motherhood, and the thing about really like the most important interpersonal relationships in our lives, they are mirrors sometimes of unresolved trauma and
Right.
unresolved healing. And
Exactly.
it's within those
Exactly.
experiences that it triggers things that we didn't realize was unhealed. And then becoming a mother
Yeah.
is probably one of the most powerful
Yes.
interpersonal relationships we have, because not only are
Hmm.
our children, by the grace of God, we're the
Hmm.
vessel for them, but also,
Hmm.
they're reflections of us, but they
Yes.
also
Hmm.
challenge us. Just their existence
Hmm.
challenges us to look at the unhealed parts of ourselves, because we have to help them be their
Yes.
best selves. And
And
then,
we gotta reparent ourselves. We have to reparent ourselves. That's the
yes,
whole thing.
yes,
Yes.
yes, reparenting
That's what it is.
yourself. That
It's
you
so
said a
hard.
mouthful there. It's so freaking hard. But
So
clearly,
hard.
I see the work that you're doing, and I see
Thank
that it's
you.
working. So I can't wait till I get
Thank you
my
so much.
one-on-one coaching with you.
Oh,
I kind of
girl.
feel like right now I'm kind of getting
Yes.
me a little sample right now with this collaboration,
Right?
and I thank you so much for your time because
Oh,
you are
you
very
too. Thank you for
busy.
inviting me.
No, I'm
And
so
you too,
excited.
girl. We're all busy moms.
Super
We're all,
busy. And not only that, we have
mhm,
brands, we have visions that we're working
right?
towards,
We got
um,
goals.
goals.
Yes.
So,
Mm,
what do you think is one key thing that mothers should keep in mind when they are working on a brand? As a mother who, you
I
are a
think,
boss mom, you have a brand, you're a healthcare professional, you're out here saving lives and enhancing
mm,
lives. And like I said before, like I have family members, I come from a family of nurses. Like my
mm,
grandmother, who I love dearly, and her death left a lot of trauma for
mm.
me because she was
Oh,
basically like
yeah.
my second mom. And when she
Mm,
left me, it was a very interesting time because
mm.
it was also during Hurricane Katrina. I don't know if you heard of
Oh,
Hurricane
wow.
Katrina,
Yes,
but
yes,
like,
we did. Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
wow, okay, so I was like a Hurricane
Yeah.
Katrina survivor,
Wow.
and the
Wow.
same like the same time frame where we were dealing with the aftermath
Hmm.
of Hurricane Katrina was the same time frame when I
Hmm.
lost my grandmother. So I
Uh,
definitely understand
um,
how
yeah.
the trauma of loss
As,
can really stunt the growth of development. And then we got to go into this process
yeah.
of reparenting
Yes.
ourselves.
Right?
And
You have
you
to get out of survival mode. Yeah.
out of
That's what it is.
survival mode. And that's literally what I
Mm,
feel like self care is. You are
mm,
going from the mode of surviving to thriving.
yes.
It's
Oh, that's a good line. That's a good one.
from
Yeah.
surviving to thriving. And you, as an expert,
Yeah.
because I feel like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, anyone who hears this podcast episode, you have to check out her brand and her content, because literally I could be just
Thank
scrolling through
you.
her stories, and the your most
Yeah.
recent story that I know you say you're gonna add to your what do you call it on Instagram? The
The highlights, yeah, I gotta put
highlights.
all the story about my healing journey. I gotta put that in the highlights. That's what I'm gonna do tomorrow,
It's
so
so
people can just
inspiring.
rewatch it. Yeah, thank you
Yes,
so
it's so
much. Thank
inspiring.
you.
So back to my
Thank you.
question. I just gave you like a long-winded
Yeah,
question, but for
it's all
mothers that
good.
are building for mothers that are building a
Mhm.
brand, what is
Mhm.
one of the key things that you think they should like keep in mind as a mother, but also trying to build a brand?
I think for me, because I started this brand like last year in August, I decided like I'm gonna, open like a new account and then focus on self-care specifically and really like start posting content about things that I've learned and just like little, snippets of my healing journey
It's growing
and all
fast
these
too.
like positive, thank you. It's like a positive like page to come to and to feel like it's a safe space. And I've realized, like, also by, being told by other coaches as well, like a friend of mine, also, like, as long as you're authentic, you're showing your authentic self, you're being true to who you are, that's what you need to remind yourself. Like, you're doing great when you are showing your true self. Don't
Mm-hmm.
pretend to be like this, super mom or whatever. You just be who you are, and people will follow you or like you for that, and
Hmm.
just just know that as a mom, we're gonna have moments where we're not feeling too good, we're not on our A game, because I know that when I'm doing great at motherhood, I'm being a great mom this week, I know that my work might be like on the, back burner a little bit
Hmm.
because I've been focusing more on my kids, but that's life, and no
That's
one's
right.
gonna think, yeah, no one's gonna think like, oh, why hasn't she been on her A game on her like page or
Hmm.
whatever with her brand?
Hmm.
Because we all understand as moms, that's just what it is,
Yep.
and as
Yep.
women in general, we have like one good week out of the month
Yes,
because
that's so true.
because of that time of the month and our cycles, and
Yep.
it's a mess. So you just gotta accept, sometimes it just some days are just not that great, and you
Yeah.
can't just be holding on to that. Just know that tomorrow you can make it like a better day, or tomorrow you're gonna just do something else, try something else, or like me,
Right.
I had like a bad week like the week before this past week, and
Mm.
I just thought, you know what? I'm going to start over this week. I'm going to post about my healing journey. And I got so much, like, so many great feedback and so many DMs, and just women saying, like, or moms saying, like, oh my God, I've been there too, or I've had an autoimmune disease as well. I didn't know that these were the symptoms. And oh my God, thank you for sharing your journey. Like, imagine like the a
Yeah, that's
couple
how I
days before
felt.
that, I was just not feeling it. I was like, damn, I've been inconsistent, but I've been consistent at being a mom, like and like really like doing a great job with that, so
Hmm.
it is what it is. Just
Yeah.
don't beat yourself up, you know
Give
and that's
yourself
how you kind of
grace.
like thrive. Yeah, give yourself grace, be kind to yourself, and I'm learning that now more than ever, that me being kind to myself, that's gonna also show in my brand and my content, and also like give other women that positive vibe of you're good,
Yeah.
you're doing
This
great.
story is so inspiring, and um
Thank you.
health. As a healthcare
Hmm.
professional, for me, I'm on my journey right now where, one
Hmm.
thing that I struggle with self-care is the guilt around
Hmm.
self-care. Like you just said a
Yeah.
mouthful about, giving yourself grace. Like for me, it's the
Yes.
guilt around self-care. Like right now, I'm still
Hmm.
like I am 18 months postpartum, And so
Mhm.
I am still figuring out, if some women they bounce back quick. I'm not one of those women who
Mhm.
bounce back quick. And I'm trying to find the
That's all
balance.
good.
Like just like us as busy
Mhm.
moms building brands, we have to make
Mhm.
time to
Mhm.
get up here and
Mhm.
collaborate. I have to make time to work out. Right. And
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to kind of spoil it for anyone who needs to go and see your amazing page, but you talked a bit about
Yeah.
women who struggle with certain health issues and the commonality of this health issue. Can you kind of touch on that subject of like, the commonality you see with a
Um,
lot of women, a lot of mothers in terms of like
I
health?
think it's
Not all of us, but a
there's
good bit of
two.
us.
Yeah, well, there's a few different things. I've posted a video about postpartum depression, which is also something that plays a big part. It isn't talked about enough, I feel. And
Mm-mm,
especially, in like Black communities, in Muslim communities, it's not
mm-hmm.
talked about enough. I feel like we're as Black women in general, we're like seen as like these strong women. We always have to be strong and stay strong, and you got it. And people don't really check up on us and ask, hey, how are you doing?
Nope.
Because they think what we show like all the time, like we're strong, we've been through a lot, and we don't need anybody. We give off that vibe like I got this, but we don't. Especially when you become a mom,
Yep.
you are expecting people to really check up on you and care for you, and then you see that people just expect you to just adjust to this new life. But
Mm-hmm.
just imagine like being when you have a baby, you have a newborn, but you also have like
Yeah.
a newborn, you become a newborn mom. Basically, you're a new mom.
Yes,
I
yes,
swear people don't understand, like we're
they
also
don't.
learning. We need help, we need support, we need understanding, we need people to really also like extend our us that grace as
Grace.
well, like, and say to
And
us like, hey, I
yeah,
see you're struggling, I understand. We don't get that, and
no, we
that was the
don't.
biggest shock for me. I
Me
swear,
too.
that
I
was the
thought it was
biggest
just
shock.
me. That was a huge shock for me
No,
that even if you
right?
say something about how you feel, it's like, oh, you just whining. You just
It's
trying to use
brushed off.
postpartum as an excuse
Yes,
to feel this way. I
yes.
dealt with it in the workplace. Like, I was
Oh
working
my
for this
God.
really big brand. And
Mm,
it was a really weird time. My background right now, my professional background has been like
mm-hmm,
really building my career in media, different sectors of media, and
mm-hmm,
ebbs and flows
mm-hmm,
with that journey. But at this
mm-hmm,
particular time, I've landed an opportunity that was a pretty decent opportunity, pretty good opportunity with a big brand. And I let them know, when they hired me that I was pregnant.
mm-hmm,
Then when I after I had the baby, like this
mm-hmm.
conversation on postpartum is so many layers. That's something I think we gotta
Right?
gotta create a subtopic, and I
Have
gotta
a
have you
different,
back to talk
like another
about.
episode.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I noticed, that shock of it, is that even if you say something
Mm-hmm,
about it, whether it's the workplace or like,
mm-hmm,
family, they just don't get it.
mm-hmm.
And they think sometimes
You're
you're
making
being
it up, or you're
dramatic,
just exaggerating.
you're
Mm-hmm,
exaggerating, but literally, especially when you're a
mm-hmm,
new mom, like it is really
mm-hmm.
a rebirth for you, and your body is
Right?
different. You are,
Yes.
the baby is taken care of. The baby is going to make sure that we're going to make sure they fed,
Right?
nursed,
They'll survive.
they survive. But it's us who are like running on 2 hours of sleep, 1 hour of sleep,
Yeah. Oh
can't
my
rest. And then
God.
we got to do stuff in between the baby's naps, and then
Right?
even years later, if you're a mom who you really want to create a holistic
Mm-hmm,
experience for your child, it's even harder because
mm-hmm.
we live in this kind of microwave popcorn society where it's just
Yeah,
like every mom is expected to do the same thing, go back to the workplace in 3 months,
exactly.
put your kid, or not even three
Mm.
months, 1 month. In my case, it was 1 month. And
Wow.
I
I
try
can't
to
believe
advocate,
that.
yeah, I try to advocate for
Wow.
more maternity
1 month.
leave. It
Like you're
was
still, damn.
And the fact that the people that I worked
You
with did
just
not
gave
see
birth.
anything wrong with that I'm coming back a month later,
Wow.
after having a baby, that they didn't see
And
anything
you
that was
still, do
weird
you
about
still
it.
work for them?
No, I don't. I don't. I
Thank God
had
you
to.
don't.
Yeah, I had to phase
Yeah.
out of that opportunity because I had to choose
Mm,
my baby and I had to choose me first. But it was a very
of
hard
course.
experience because I felt like
Hmm.
it was women in leadership that didn't understand. I
Wow,
can
that's
kind of understand
crazy.
it when it's a guy,
Mm,
but
that's really bad.
it's really
When it's
bad.
a
So
woman, it makes it worse.
yeah.
Mm,
And it was just almost as if like
yeah.
they expected that you're expected to be, especially as a black woman, you're expected to be
Yes.
superwoman at all time. And when you do not fit in that
Yes.
description, you're kind of
Hmm.
like you're made to feel bad. Like vulnerability is not
Yes.
something that you see attached
Oh,
to a black woman. And
yeah.
it's amazing that people think
Hmm.
we're just these amazing, resilient women. We are.
Yeah.
But this is
Yeah.
how
At the
my
same time,
grandmother, at the same time, we
hmm,
need grace to save our lives. Like you said in your
yes.
stories that day, so many of us mothers, we self sacrifice so much. You really touched on that, and it
Yeah.
really touched me. And I think about my grandmother who was
Hmm.
an RN who knew about everything
Hmm.
health wise. And she died early because
Hmm.
she gave so much of
Hmm.
herself to everyone. And
Oh,
when Hurricane
yeah.
Katrina came, it was so much stress
Mm.
that was happening
Oh
from just
God.
us, everyone trying to
Yeah.
process loss. And my grandmother had so
Right.
many
Yeah.
instances where she put everyone before herself. And at the time, I
Hmm.
was just like 14. So I think back now
Wow.
on how much my
Hmm.
grandmother self
Hmm.
sacrificed, but no one
Yeah.
looked at her and thought, hey, you got to stop doing that. You're X amount of age. You
No.
got to stop doing that. We just always thought she would be
Mm-mm.
around. Even I did. I just always thought she would be
Expectations.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
I think a
Yeah.
big part of, like you said, a mouthful in your stories, and I'm gonna go back and watch
Hmm.
it again because
Yeah.
it's so beautiful.
Hmm.
When we as women are starting to
Hmm.
revolutionize what it means to love on
Yeah.
ourselves, because we've seen it time and time again that the
Hmm.
results of not prioritizing you and not prioritizing self-care
Yeah.
is dangerous.
It's
So
gonna
I would
affect your
say,
health at the end of the
yeah, it
day.
affects your health.
Yeah. Mm,
And you as a
mm,
healthcare professional, what are some
mhm.
key things you recommend, especially for women of color, black women, you know, key things that we need to keep in
I
mind?
think I think that with my in my situation, I had a postpartum depression after my second child, and I've been like I had C-sections with both, and I also like it was a hard time for me to really get adjust to the new life again because I was missing my mom and just the love of a mom and just that
Mm-hmm.
that that aspect was missing, but I realized like I didn't even know I was going through postpartum depression until, I really like lost it at some point and I was just like I was not myself and I was really like just hating my life at the time. And then I went to a doctor and the doctor told me like, wow, that sounds like symptoms of postpartum depression. It's like we don't even acknowledge our um what we're going through because a lot of the times others are telling us like don't over don't exaggerate or no you're fine you just need some sleep you're
Just
being
pray
like
about it.
almost gaslit. Oh yeah, or pray about it. So you're just being gaslit basically because
Mm-hmm.
the people that you're telling it to they don't even know what's going on and they don't have the knowledge or that I don't know just like they can't think of that because they think like everything is like oh but my mom and my
They
auntie
endured
they
it.
all went there they went through it
Mm-hmm.
my sister went through it
And we're
so
just
why is it so
fine.
hard for you to adjust. Yes,
Right.
it's like the comparison all the time and saying like
Mm-hmm.
you're not the only woman that gave birth to a child. So what? Like don't compare me to everybody else. I'm
Right.
not like them. It's like you're constantly being your feelings are constantly being invalidated. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the thing and I realized like me talking to a therapist or a psychologist, it was better for my mental health than talking to the people around me that I expected so much from. Because you have to
Right.
understand, and I saw this video the other day where Alicia Keys was talking about like we place so much like responsibility on other people to be there for us and to, understand certain things that's going on with us, but they don't have the capacity to understand, to help us in
Mm,
that way. We're asking it from the wrong people, right?
mhm.
We have to go to the professionals and we have to understand, like, sometimes it's not like your family and your friends that can help you. And that's why we stay in this cycle, of like
Cycle, yeah.
depression and not taking care of ourselves. And the cycle just goes on because we're asking help from the not from the right people.
Oh,
And
that's a
once you
mouthful.
take the step, yeah, for me, it literally was like once I took the step to really get help from a professional, that's when I also learned how to ask for certain things from the people around me and really
Yes.
articulate it, how to
Yeah.
articulate what do I need from you, you know?
Yeah.
And before that, you don't know even how to say it. You don't know what's going on in your head, and that's the thing that a lot of people run away from, the
Hmm.
professional, getting help from that, the person that has the knowledge, that does have the capacity to listen to you and to give you that, like, offer you that safe space to
Yes.
validate your feelings, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like we need to not be so, like, against therapy and
Therapy.
and coaching, because that's the thing that's going to help you elevate, that's going to help you grow. But if you decide to be stuck in the same place forever and you're not willing to look beyond, like, think outside of the box and look beyond your little bubble and your
Hmm.
comfort zone,
Or be closed
you're not going to get
minded.
out of this cycle.
Yeah.
Be closed-minded. Yeah.
And
So
we
I think that's a lot of
realize,
times in the Black community. Yeah.
yeah,
That's what's
you
going on,
said
I
so
think.
much. That cycle.
Mhm.
You made a big point about that
Yes.
cycle. We repeat cycles from our mothers' mothers and our
Yes.
mothers' mothers' mothers because we think like
Yeah.
our loyalty to our mothers' mothers and our mothers' mothers is to keep that cycle of
Mhm.
self-sacrificing
Right?
ourselves because we think we
Yeah.
sometimes feel like motherhood is synonymous with being self-sacrificial, and find,
Mhm.
like you're saying, it's about finding balance. Like you said, some days my
Yes.
content is like I'm consistent every day.
It's
Other
great. I'm
days I
on
have
top
to,
of it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm on top of it, and then some days I have to kind of give it a rest and give balance. But the beautiful
Take a
thing
step
about,
back.
yeah, taking a step back is
Mhm.
that we can't
Mhm.
be everything for everyone all the time.
No,
Sometimes
that's
there's ebbs
exactly
and
what it is.
flows,
Yes.
and we
We
feel
can't
like
be
we have
everything
to
to
be.
everybody.
Yes, we feel like
Yeah.
we have to
You
be,
get
and when
it.
we're not, we feel like a failure.
Yes.
And so, what are
Exactly.
some key things, like someone like myself, like I'll tell you,
Mhm.
like vitamins and things like that. I really need to get better with the vitamins. Like I remember you saying, I've had a
Yeah.
long day. I'm all the way here in the Netherlands
Girl.
and you're over there and
Mhm.
I got all this energy. I still got energy and it's been a long
Right.
day. Like right now, our time
Girl,
frames
I
are
can't
so
believe it.
different. Yeah, like right now
Yeah.
it's 4 o'clock for me and it's probably what, 11 o'clock for you?
It's 10. No, girl, it's 10:15. I think it's only 6 hours then. I'm six
6 hours.
hours
Okay,
ahead of
okay.
you, maybe. It's 10:15 right now. Yeah,
Got it.
it is.
So
Yeah.
what are some things
So,
that me,
what are
a
the key
busy
things?
mom, stressed mom, what can I get out of your
Mhm.
coaching? Sorry, can you cut you off?
What you can get is first, like, I always start with like a little bit of self-reflection of, like, what are your kind of like your goals for the future, because with coaching you look to the future, you don't look to the past anymore. With I'm gonna look in the camera because I'm like confused,
Yeah, you
girl,
know
cut
what's
this
happening
part
right now.
out.
I'm looking
But
so many different ways,
me
so it's all
too.
good.
Yeah. So basically, with coaching, it's like we look to the future, like we look forward. We don't look backward anymore. And in therapy, you look to the past. You look at were your past traumas and what are those things that are holding you back. And with coaching, we're looking forward. We're looking at, okay, so you were stuck because of this, like this problem of, you conditioned to think that we have to sacrifice ourselves for our families, and now you're like feeling depleted or burnt out, and you want to get back to who you were, but you're not that
Mhm.
person anymore. You're discovering like
Right.
a new person. So my program is about rediscovering yourself as a mom and understanding that you're not, you were a daughter before you were a mom. You were probably, either a partner, someone's partner or wife. You were a friend. You were, a business partner or a colleague, whatever. Like, you were so many things before you became a mom. So you have to
Mhm.
understand, like, that's not your only role. And you have to look at, okay, how can I be, you know, thinking about a different aspects, like where did you start losing yourself, and how
Mm.
do I get back to the essence of who I am. And you
Mhm.
and we I focus on the core values that you have as a person, like what are your core values, and does do your core values align in your current life, what you're doing right now, or have you lost
Mhm.
that a little bit, and how do you recenter that again? And then you make goals like related to your core values, and that's how you kind of also get back to the essence of who you really are,
Wow. I
because
love
your
this.
values are number one. Like, you have to hold on to those core values, like
Mhm.
that's who you are, right?
Right.
And when we lose
Mhm.
that, you see that you're like confused of like, okay, who am I? What do I want in life? What am I
Mhm.
even doing? And me going through that coaching process, I discovered my purpose. Like, I want to help other women get to where I am today, feeling so calm, and I'm like out of that chaotic situation that I was in. I'm out of toxic environments. I'm looking out for myself. I'm setting
Yes.
boundaries. I'm saying no.
Yes.
I found that balance, but that was all due to me being kinder to myself, giving
Right.
myself grace, you know, looking at what I have now, be grateful, gratitude, look at what you have now, and look at what you can work with, and find
Right.
pockets of like little self-care moments that you can find in your daily
Self-care
life.
moments, pockets of
Yeah.
moments.
And
I'm
also
taking so many
forget about
notes
the
from
to-do
this.
list.
I love this.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
lot, but you have to also forget about the endless to-do list. We always feel like we're
Mhm.
constantly busy, busy, but it's the society where we are in. We have to
Yep.
constantly be running, like rushing. And I learned that really stressed me out. That's, I think,
Mhm.
also what,
Me too.
got me burnt out, right? The endless to-do list. We need to
That's
like
how I
really
feel
look
right
at.
now. You're speaking to me right now. You're speaking to
Right.
me.
Yeah. You look at also, we look at the to-do list. What is really important today? Like, what's really important for you to do? And what can you move to another day? That's also what I had to learn. Like, is the cleaning really important right now, or is my rest more important? Because the cleaning can
Mm.
wait. Like, your house is not like that dirty that you're gonna like, you can't even walk there, or everything is sticky.
Right.
It's not like that. It's all in our heads. So letting go of like
Mhm.
these things that you're forcing yourself to do, that's really giving you stress. I
Right.
think that really gave me a lot of peace, thinking like, okay, I don't have to clean today. I can do that tomorrow. When now
Right.
I'm gonna rest. Tomorrow I'm well rested. Then I can do what I intended to do the other
I
day.
love that. I
You
love
know,
that. I love that.
prioritizing your rest. I swear we are not used to resting as moms. We're so used to running and chasing and doing this, doing that, managing the whole
Yep.
household,
Mhm.
you know?
We
So
are
I
the
think
house
that's what helped
managers.
me, right? We're the managers, we're the teachers, we're this, we're that, we're everything. And it's just allowing yourself to rest. I really had to teach myself also, like, rest. When I have a weekend to myself, I'm like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to plan anything. I need to like come back to myself again. I've been giving myself to
Yes.
other people, to work, to
Mhm.
my kids, obviously, to other obligations. So now I'm like, no, I'm gonna rest.
And
So
that
I think it's
reminds
a
me of
lot,
so
I think. Yeah, that's a
mm,
lot, but I feel like I think that you also learn when you've been through burnout, all you
mhm.
want is peace. All you want is rest.
Yeah.
And at some point you're going to allow yourself to rest, to not be everything to everybody. And
Yeah.
I think some people like me have to go through a burnout. We have to go through depression and really being at our lowest to really start prioritizing ourselves. But I don't want other moms to go through that. You know, I want them to
Right.
stop themselves before they become
Get to
burnt
that
out.
point. Yeah, yeah, I
Yes.
love that. Beautifully
Yeah. That's
said.
the
Beautifully
goal.
said.
Thank you.
What you're saying reminds me of what Lisa Nichols said. She said
Mhm.
she discovered when she got to a place of burnout that she no longer wants to pour into people from her cup. She wants to pour into
Yes.
people from her
Wow.
overflow.
Yeah.
So basically, once
Wow.
her cup is
Yes.
filled, she wants them
Yes.
to get from the overflow. And she said
Exactly.
amount, and what you're saying reminds me so much of
Wow.
that, and it sparked my memory on that. Is just that,
Yeah.
are we pouring from our overflow, or are we pouring from our cup? Because our cup, we need it,
Exactly.
and that's
Wow.
something
That's so
that
powerful.
right now that I'm trying to
Mhm.
get to a place of where I'm pouring from my overflow. And it takes
Mhm.
time. And I'm so
It takes
excited
time.
about a chance to do your coaching because, I think what you said is so beautiful that the difference
Mhm.
between coaching, you beautifully gave, because I never really put that into perspective. There's a distinct
Yeah.
difference between coaching and therapy. And coaching is looking
Yes.
forward. And with looking
Yes.
forward, sometimes we need, because we're the family coach. We coach everybody
Mhm.
in the house. We manage everybody.
Yeah, the
We're the
friends.
nucleus of the cell right now. And
Yeah.
so, well, sometimes
So
we need that
funny.
nudge. We need someone to hold us
Mm.
accountable. And I think it's so
Exactly.
beautiful for women when they
Mm.
start to identify what's going
Mhm.
on to find the
Yeah.
antidote to help hold them accountable to doing self-care. Because,
Yes. Yes.
self-care, like I always say, is more than just bubble baths, which are really important too. It's more than just,
Exactly.
it's looking at the parts of yourself that needs more love sent
Yeah.
to it. Like right now
Yes.
for me, it's my health, it's my fitness journey. Like
Yes.
it's so hard for me, just
Yeah.
like it's hard for me to make time to collaborate with amazing
Mhm.
women like yourself. It's hard
Mhm.
for me to make time to
Mhm.
work out. It's hard for me to make
Yeah, and I
time
get it.
because it's
Mhm.
always so many different things. So I'm
You're
hoping that
doing
when
so
I
many things. Yeah.
yeah, as moms, we do so much, and what we have to do
Mhm.
is we have to put it on. We have to get serious about our self-care and make this our
Yes.
year of prioritizing ourselves.
Exactly.
Because once
Mhm.
we prioritize ourselves, we're able to
Yes.
serve others better as well.
Exactly. And that's what
Like,
self-care is about. That's
yeah,
basically what self-care is about. Yeah. And the coaching, what you said is so on point. Like it's about accountability, someone else holding you accountable and helping you
mhm,
get to your goals. And you're just doing small steps, okay? We're not overwhelming. We're not going to be
right,
like, as coaches, we're not going to overwhelm a client. It's
right,
small steps into getting to your goals, and you don't
right.
have to do that right away, but it's also about a mindset shift. You have to start thinking
Yes,
differently about your self-care. you
mindset
you don't
shift.
you don't see it as like something else that you have to add to your to-do list. It's not
Yeah,
that. It's more than that. You have to really see it as a necessity
mm,
instead of like it's a luxury. It's not a luxury. It should be
that's a
like your
valid
top
point.
priority, right?
Right,
So
not not a
yeah.
luxury, but a necessity.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
that's the part that I
exactly.
think I'm still learning is that it's not
Mhm.
that it's a luxury for me to get to work out.
Mhm.
It's not a luxury for me to go get a
Oh,
pedicure
yeah.
because sometimes my feet are
Mm,
hurting from, not making time. So yeah, definitely I can
exactly.
relate. We can relate to each other so much. It's so much that you're saying that
Yeah,
I
I
just
love
I
that.
just see that, because that's
Yeah.
what inspired me to create this brand
Mhm.
is because
Mhm.
I really want women to learn how to prioritize themselves. And not only
Yeah.
that, I want women to be able to see how so many other women mirror them. Even though we all have our
Yes,
unique stories,
we
I feel
do.
like we live in this society where we've been
Mhm.
forced to feel like we have to fit one mode. Like you have to be
Exactly.
like this if
A
to be a
certain
because
way. Yeah.
be a certain way to feel like you're on
Mhm.
top, to feel like you're accomplished.
Yeah.
And every woman has
Mhm.
a unique
Exactly.
journey Every woman has a unique
Everyone.
story, and every
Hmm.
woman has what they define as success. And
Yeah,
just like success is not one size fits all, so is self-care. Like self-care
exactly.
is not a one size fits all. Like
Yes.
what may
Yeah,
be your self-care needs may be different from what my
exactly.
self-care needs be
That's what
may
I
be.
also tell clients as well. Like, okay, you have to understand whatever works for me doesn't mean it has to work for you. We're gonna find
Right.
something that's gonna work for your unique situation and is tailored to
Right.
you, you know?
Beautiful.
And
That's
that's also
beautiful.
when you let go of comparisons. Stop comparing yourself
Mm.
to the other mom that you see, your neighbor or whoever at the school, playground, whatever, and who's got her stuff together and she's doing all these self-care practices.
Yeah.
And forget that she's in a different, like situation than you are. She's
Yeah.
been through different things. You've been through different other things, and you can't compare the two. And when you let go of the comparison, you also start finding more balance because you're not now looking at other people. You're looking at your own situation, what works for you and
Right.
what doesn't. Yeah.
Yes, that's beautifully said. Ooh, you said so much. We can go on
Yeah.
and on and on.
Yeah. We
Um, I
can keep going. Yeah.
yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I'm hoping that in the future we can go
Me
in
too.
more into depth because it's like so many
Definitely.
layers to this.
There's
But
so many
I want
topics.
so many
Yeah.
topics within a topic within a topic right now
Yes.
about
Hmm.
prioritizing yourself. I really
Yeah.
appreciate you kind of giving us a glimpse into your story because you know
You're
pulling
welcome. Yeah.
yourself up and rising like a
Yes.
phoenix from the ashes of trauma is really
Yes.
a
Wow.
powerful thing to do. And I just
Hmm.
want, I just wish so many women understood that in itself, you're always going to be
Hmm.
considered successful because that takes a lot of strength to be able to look at
Thank
yourself and
you.
say, hey,
Yeah.
this is what has happened to me, but it's not going to be um
It's not going to
the thing.
define me. It's not going to be my story either.
It's not going to
I'm
define
going to
me.
rise beyond that. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely love this.
Hmm.
So I just want to close out with one last tip that you have for moms about
Hmm.
prioritizing themselves. And of course, I'm going to put the link to your socials, your self-care
Hmm.
page because you got just so much many tips. Not
Yeah.
only that, you be serving the
Yeah.
looks with the high fashion and everything.
Thank you, girl.
And
I'm
I think
trying.
you got it. And I feel like some of the biggest things that I got from this conversation is not to compare yourself, to give yourself
Yeah.
grace,
Yes. Be
to
kind
be
to
kind to
yourself.
yourself. Yeah, in a real way.
Hmm.
One
Yeah.
last tip for someone like me who is trying
Yeah.
to um redefine what self-care means to me. Like I realized I thought self-care meant one thing to me, now it means something else. But I feel like
Mm.
you was about to complete a thought before I asked that question too.
I think that redefining is really looking at um, truly just thinking what did you like to do, like think about like your inner child. I feel like I really connected to my inner child through going through
Wow.
therapy and coaching. Look at what did you used to love to do when you were younger, like maybe even in your teens, or and go back to that as well because that gives you so much joy. I used to love swimming a lot back in the day, and then I stopped doing that because of life happened. And then when I had a coach myself, a life coach, I said, one of the things that I put on my vision board was I want to go back to swimming again. And then you
Wow.
know I went to this, I went and like signed myself up, and I started the swimming classes because I kind of forgot about the technique as well. And then I started, as soon as I went into the water, it felt like I was free. It just,
Wow. It's
put me
beautiful.
back to like who just my childhood. And it really made me so happy. So also like try to look at that, like who were you
I love
in
that.
that
And I
time, and
think
what used to make you so happy, what used to give you that joy, and get back to that as well and incorporate that in your current life,
I
and
love that. I love
you're gonna
that.
see a different side of you. Yeah,
That's such
hold on
great,
to
great,
that.
great advice. Yes. And I
Yeah.
think what happens too when we become moms and we become adults,
Mm.
many of us feel like we have to disregard childhood. Like, oh, you're a woman now, you ain't
Yeah.
gotta, but
No,
sometimes a
it's a
lot of
part of
adults,
you.
it's a part of you. And a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
people don't realize how much of
Mm-hmm.
unresolved or issues from
Traumas.
childhood is
Mm,
reflected in the
yeah.
things that we have to deal
Mm,
with in our adulthood. So that's
yeah.
powerful. I'm gonna
Do like
go
those
and
little things. Mm.
yeah,
It
and
doesn't have to be the big things. Just do those little things that you used to love, like the dance. Sometimes I'm just like when I'm by myself, I'm just dancing to some music. I'm just chilling on my own, loving my own company.
yes,
It's so freeing to do that,
mhm,
not to like worry. Let all the worry go, shake it off. Do t
yes,
things like that that just bring you joy.
yeah,
Find
I love
those little
that.
things, yeah,
Yeah,
and
because
hold on to that.
we get caught up in life. And then we
We
start to
do.
forget the things that matter the most to us, like you said, that,
Exactly.
getting back to your purpose, and
Yes.
sometimes we get so caught up in survival mode, right? Work, I gotta
Hmm.
work to pay bills, we gotta pay
Motherhood.
bills to live, and then I gotta
Yes,
work
that
about my
too.
babies because that's another thing
Yeah.
about being a mom. Your children are only gonna be children for a short amount of time. So it's
Right?
just like
Yeah.
it's that constant trying to find that balance between, do I show up for myself right now
Yeah.
during
Or
this
do I?
stage, or do I just
Yeah.
prioritize them in their childhood more
My
than
kids.
anything? Because we think
Hmm.
about, okay, these are things I want to avoid
Hmm.
from my childhood
Hmm.
trauma. I don't want them to experience. And we get so, like, for me, I get hyper aware of that to the
Yeah.
point where it's like,
Yeah.
how do I show up for myself? But also,
Exactly.
these are crucial years
The
because one
mom
day,
guilt.
yeah, the
Yeah.
mom guilt.
Hmm.
And like
Hmm.
even with now we're working out, like, do I show up for myself? Like it's a balance between,
Yeah.
okay, yes, I need rest, but I
Hmm.
also need to
Hmm.
push myself. So it's a balance between,
Yeah.
okay, giving myself
Hmm.
grace, but also pushing myself.
Hmm.
And then,
Exactly.
with coaching, I think that helps you figure
Yeah.
that out. Or, going on
Hmm.
that journey of introspection
Yeah.
helps you figure
Yeah.
that out. Like the moments
Exactly.
of when do I push myself, but when do I also
Yes.
give myself grace?
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
also remember always like taking care of you, it means that you can take better care of your children. So you
right.
have to put yourself first in this case because if you're not
Yes.
taking care of yourself, you can't be taking care of your kids. That it doesn't work, you know?
Right.
So look at it that way. If I'm not taking care
Mhm.
of myself, if I'm not like prioritizing my needs and I'm not happy and I'm just like constantly stressed and depressed, my kids are not going to have a happy mom. They're going to
Right.
feel that energy and they're not going to do well. They're going to have tantrums. They're going to like, just
Right.
be, they be like taking over our energy
Yeah, they
and
feed off of our
that we have to
energy.
protect that. Yes. So we have to
Yeah.
protect that. So that means take better care of yourself. That's what
Yes.
it comes down to.
Yes, yes, yes. I love this so
Yes.
much. Thank you
Yes.
so much for joining me with a little
You're
self-care talk for
welcome.
moms.
Thank
Please,
you
where
for
can we
inviting
find you?
me.
Oh, thank you for being my invitee. So hopefully that next
Yes.
episode, next time we collaborate, that we dive into the topic of like
Yes.
postpartum and really kind of get
Yeah.
into that, because I know as a healthcare
Yeah.
professional, you know a lot
Mm-hmm.
about things that we can do during our
Yes.
postpartum journey. That's a whole nother
Definitely.
conversation.
Yeah,
Where
for
can we
sure.
find you?
On Instagram, you mean?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I'm
Sorry.
gonna
Where can
look
we
at that
find
way.
you?
Yes. Well, my Instagram handle is at self-care with Nima. And that's it's really like, my whole like vibe is just, pushing women or
Yes.
moms to really take care of themselves and even women that want to be moms just kind of know like what are the ingredients of like taking care of you so you can take care of your kids better.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
um
And
and my details are on there, like if you want that one-to-one coaching, there's a Google form on there where you can fill it in and I will get back to you. You can DM me for questions. So I am open to have a conversation.
Yes, and you will not regret it. Whoever reaches out to Nima, you will not regret it. She's absolutely
Thank you.
amazing. Your whole vibe is serene. I know that you
Thank
have
you
done
so
the
much.
work. You can't even, I wouldn't even
Good.
be able to imagine your background story and the things that you have had to overcome just based off just looking at you
Yeah.
right now because you just
Thank you so much.
grace, poise, and you
Worked
just
on
have a beautiful
myself.
spirit.
I worked on,
Yeah,
yes, yes. It's the
I see
self-work,
it. I see
definitely.
it. I
Thank you
love
so
it.
much.
So thank you for
Thank
joining
you. It was
us.
great. Yes, you have a
Yes,
good day.
you too. You
I'm gonna
have
go
a
to sleep.
yes. I'm gonna try to take a nap too. Now you have thinking like, girl, you gotta rest more. Gotta rest more. So
Girl,
yeah.
rest. Yes, rest
So
now.
thank you so much and have
Okay.
a beautiful
Yes,
night.
girl.
And we'll talk
Yes, thank you so
soon.
much.
This is
Okay,
another
we'll talk soon. Bye
episode.
bye.
Bye
Okay,
bye.
take care, girl. Bye
You
bye.
too.
Bye.
Bye.